What's up, taste buds? Welcome to the podcast that somebody recently said to me was where Bourdain meets Bradshaw, and I am not mad about it. I'm Lala. This is put into my mouth.
Judith.
What's up, Judith?
Hi.
Hi. What's going on?
Same shit, different day.
Sorry, my voice is still gone. I had a time in New Orleans. I'm trying to get through it. So
no, you're working through it real well.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so I don't think we should chit-chat that much because we've got a really exciting...
We really want to talk to our guests. I got a lot to pull
But I have to tell you that I was telling my Aunt Antoinette about our podcast, and I was explaining to her who, the kind of people we had on. And she stops me, and she says, by the way, this is a woman who was on the editors. She edited... I mean, it's not one editor; it's many editors for like Webster's Dictionary.
Oh,
she always wants to play Scrabble because she's going to kick your ass.
I love
Scrabble.
this.
She was like, Judith, it's not restaurateur; it's restaurateur. Did you know that, Lala?
Wait, what? Say that again.
Well,
Our guest is shaking.
Controversy.
Restaurant tour.
Restaurant.
It's restaurant.
Restaurant
tour.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you know that?
I've never even thought about it.
I always thought it was like it's a restaurant. You're a restaurateur.
Yeah.
No, you're a restaurateur.
Well, thank Antoinette for the knowledge.
Okay, but wait, you've got an opinion. Wait,
and speaking of a restaurant,
are we talking to a restaurateur or a restaurateur?
Well, let me introduce you first.
Okay,
let me pump you up a little bit here because today we have a hospitality titan. All right, a man, a hospital.
No, okay,
Titan?
No,
it doesn't work.
No.
Okay, a man who has shaped New York dining so profoundly that he might as well just like have the Tribeca area named after him. He's survived trends, critics, celebrities, pandemics, partners, recessions, and has enough Michelin sparkle to pretty much blind Lower Manhattan. He is a rock and roll connoisseur.
Ooh,
the daddy of Myriad Restaurant Group. And the reason that some of our favorite chefs exist. Everyone, welcome with me, Drew Nieporent.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thanks for being here. All right, so first question is always the most important one. What's your favorite Beatles song?
Woke up, got out of bed. The whole Sergeant, Sergeant Pepper's.
Sergeant Pepper's a great album.
But, But I mean, the White Album is.
Oh,
and I did play Revolution backwards to hear if Paul really died.
Is Paul dead? So I really.
And by the way, I met Paul at Robert De Niro's 80th birthday party, and he's wonderful, very pretty, and very gorgeous. Was he your favorite Beatle? Because he was my favorite Beatle.
I mean, I was a Ringo fan, but because I'm a weirdo. Okay. Right? I have to.
You like Zach Starkey, his son, who played the drums with the Who?
You like that? He's pretty good at it too. Look, I read your book, and we're going to talk a lot about this. His book is called "I'm Not Trying to Be Difficult," but there's, I'm going to say, go read the book, everyone. Go read the book because we're going to get into some stuff that might not be in the book.
Right.
Right?
We're not going to talk about stuff you can read in the book.
But what I did like about the book,
except for right now,
you were talking about, and I'm a big music nerd, thanks to my father, and you were talking about your record collection.
Right.
Which I also have a pretty modest record collection. But you were talking about how back in the day you used to have a cassette tape and you would record concerts.
Right.
And you still have those tapes, which I think is absolutely wild. You could sell them.
This is a great story. When I was, probably 14, 15, the Fillmore East, 1969, Janis Joplin. The first show I went to at the Fillmore was Janis Joplin, and the billing was Janis Joplin and her band, and then it said the Grateful Dead. So I thought it was Janis Joplin and her band, the Grateful Dead.
Commas are important.
I bemoan the fact that I didn't tape that show, but I had, and I still have this, by the way. I had a Sony tape recorder, and I used to put it in a bag, and I would tape. Neil Young, Laura Nyro, Miles Davis, Steve Miller.
So cassettes will start to disintegrate.
No,
you need to no.
That was. Oh, it's all gonna.
Yeah. No.
Not. In fact, this is a quick story.
Yeah.
Elton John was the second bill to Leon Russell in 1970, and he had just done a radio thing in America, and it launched his career. So I see him like the next day, and Bill Graham comes out and he goes, I'd like to introduce a new talent to our shores, Mr. Elton John.
Wow.
He took the stage and he went fucking nuts. Yeah. I mean, it was incredible.
You're allowed to curse. It's totally
I have this on tape. So now years later,
okay,
Elton does a movie with Cameron Crowe, who just wrote a memoir as well.
Of course.
Great. And tries to
fucking film.
revive Leon's career. They did an album together, and the film was going to be at the Tribeca Film Festival. So I find, of course, I have the tapes. I know where they are, obviously, but I had to convert it onto a CD. And I go to the screening or the movie, the documentary, Leon Russell and Elton John, and I see Bernie Taupin. Elton didn't come, but Bernie Taupin was there.
His writer.
And I hand him this, and he goes, "Where'd you get this?" 1970. And he goes, I said, I taped.
I made it.
I taped it myself.
Now, listen to this. Bill Graham died in a helicopter crash after a show on the West Coast. And they found out that he taped every show. So what I thought I had one of a kind, slowly he released Neil Young live at the Fillmore East. And there were some albums that were released, but the Elton John was never released. The other thing that's incredible, there's something called Wolfgang's Vault on the internet. His real name was not Bill Graham, it was Wolfgang Grazinka.
Okay.
And Wolfgang's Vault are all these tapes of all these old shows. So your listeners, if they like rock and roll, you can listen to Springsteen. You can listen to all these amazing shows from the film of West and East.
Yeah.
That's
some of the
sick.
shows, like
That's
the ones
so
that I
cool.
taped.
You hear that, Matt Zimsky?
Like I taped the Who at Metropolitan Opera.
Yeah.
Dude.
You know, but so I love rock and roll. I thought I would be in rock and roll, but the reality is that
That you ended up in hospitality.
well, rock and roll was a dog eat dog. If you read Bill Graham's book, I mean,
Wait, and hospitality isn't?
Yeah.
No, my industry is not. No,
No, you don't think so?
Well, let's talk about
Absolutely
it.
not. Absolutely
Because
not.
even though you said you thought that you would end up in rock and roll, you kind of always knew that you wanted to be in hospitality. From
Well,
a
the only
very young
reason I
age.
knew was because I grew up with two wonderful parents. My mother was an actress, child actress, radio. This is before
And a
even
casting
television.
director.
Then she became an agent and a casting director. My father worked for the State Liquor Authority. What do they do? They license restaurants in New York City. This is the 60s. These people were right off the boat. So my father would have a way of taking the application from the bottom of the pile, put it on the top of the pile. You know, they didn't understand the process.
Right, you talk about this in their book, how you were treated to all these dinners.
And we went, endless dinners in great restaurants.
I mean, that would spark
not
me
so
wanting
great
to be in
restaurants.
hospitality.
No, so
too.
I love food, and I wanted to be a chef from a very early age, and that I was very directed. And I wanted to go to a hotel school. I wanted to go to something in Europe, and then my mother one day she said, "Oh, I was talking to." One of your classmates' mothers, and they said there's a hotel school at Cornell, and I was like, "Mom,
you ended up at Cornell."
Well, I was going to Stuyvesant when it was on 16th Street, and it's like I was like 500 in the class of 700. Academically, I was not very bright. So anyway, I applied. I got into Cornell.
You got into Cornell, where you were known as this is your quote, loudmouth troublemaker. Also, your very first job in hospitality was McDonald's.
Yes.
Then you also worked on a bunch of cruises, where you said in your book you knew that you wanted to be front of house.
Right.
So, the book details all the various spots that you worked at, like Tavern on the Green. But I love this quote too, where you say, you thought you were interviewing for the Four Seasons and you thought you had it in the bag. You were like, I got this shit. I'm interviewing and then I'm going to go on vacation. And you did not, in fact, get the job. And this is a quote. Again, you came back and you said, quote, I'm going to show those motherfuckers.
Right.
And Drew, I will say,
I'm going to show.
I think
the
that
Four
you have
Seasons.
shown all the motherfuckers. So cheers to that. I'm going to have a sip of this Montrachet.
It's delicious, by the way. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Shout out to Community Wines, where I purchased it. Should have gone to Crush.
Is that in your hood?
No, it's in Chelsea Flatiron area.
So at the Four Seasons, there was two principal owners. They both loved me. And there were two sort of sub-owners, which when the principal owners left, they handed it off to the sub-owners. When I didn't get the job, I knew. Because
It
they
was
basically...
one of those.
Right.
Yeah.
So I get a call from the guy who, in the book, I kind of say it was him. And he goes, listen to me. He goes, it wasn't me. It was the other guy.
Oh, are you serious?
And you have to understand, the other guy was a lovely Swiss guy who was like, the most neutral, like
Right,
Swiss.
like Switzerland.
And this guy, and this guy who told me he got into all kinds of sexual problems with the staff, and it was in the paper actually. Even I'm not going to say his name, but he was a real pro, but that was his major difficulty.
Well, you showed that motherfucker.
The book literally, he says, no, that you got it wrong.
me.
It was the other guy. So I even learned something post book.
That's wonderful.
There you go. All right. So let's talk about this. You basically created NOBU. You have had so many Michelin stars, New York Times stars, 239 West Broadway.
Right.
The space that you had, right down the block. For so long, you had 3 restaurants that had 3 stars.
38 years in that premise.
That's insane,
That's
Drew.
insane. 38 years, it's like...
Montrachet,
Right.
Corton, and Batard.
Right.
All 3-star New York Times restaurants.
Right. 3 stars in the same premise, 3 different restaurants over a 38-year period.
I mean,
It's
Jesus.
amazing.
I mean,
But also, Montrachet, what you had to understand was, when I graduated Cornell, all my classmates like, Drew, what are you going to do? I'm like, I'm going to open my own restaurant. So you graduate, you're about 22 years old. Now I'm 29 years old, and it's like not happening. And I had no money, and I was jogging one day, in Tribeca, and I see the neighborhood. I had actually seen a classified in the New York Times, 1,500 square feet for $1,500 a month, Lower Manhattan. So that's where I jogged.
Crazy to think that.
No, and Chanterelle opened in '79 on Green and Grand, not far from here either. And I figured, well, they had like 9 tables, and I figured 1,500 square feet, 1,500 a month, I can afford $18,000 a year. So I signed the lease. I had no money, and then when I was working as a captain in these French restaurants, everybody used to say to me, if you ever decide to open your own restaurant, we'll back you. So I went to those people. Of course, not
Of course, not a one. Nope. They're like, who are you?
I scratched together $50,000 of my own life savings, $50,000 of a classmate of mine from Cornell, and then the SBA, Small Business Administration, was also giving $50,000 in loans, and we started building the restaurant for $150,000, which even back then, '85, was not enough money. But I mean, it was all the way it happened. I had been on a trip also to the West Coast. After I ran the marathon, in fact, I went to California, and I met on the last day, and I'd eaten at Spago and Michael's and all the well-known California restaurants. But on the last day, I ate at this obscure restaurant in San Francisco, and I meet David Boulud. And David Boulud made a luncheon for me that was like, out of mind. It was just so, so amazing. So I get back to New York. I called him. I said, I want to open my own restaurant. Would you be interested? And he's like, he's on the West Coast, but he said, no, I'd be interested. And that's how that whole thing happened.
And then how long was your relationship with Boulud? A very tumultuous, but lucrative relationship with David Boulud.
Here's the amazing thing. I look back on it now. He died 2 years ago.
Correct.
And he was 70 when he died.
He had a heart attack.
Yeah, and he was like, he cooked with doctors. I mean, he was like very healthy, but so his problem was he was one of the most talented people I've ever worked with, but he couldn't get the food out of the kitchen in a timely fashion. And I don't mean like...
Why? Was he just fussy? Was he just a...
It was never perfect?
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean...
Or just no sense of urgency.
There was a lot of things.
Okay.
but no, he... chefs, most of the time in like a very busy restaurant, if you're going to do 200, 300 covers, you have to pre-cook.
Okay.
A lot of the
that
food.
Just wasn't his style, huh?
Yeah, you might even cook a medium rare and then you finish it.
Sure.
He cooked everything a la minute. That was the beginning of chefs wanting to not fire anything in advance. And he was right about that the final product would be more delicious if it wasn't pre-cooked and then reheated.
However,
you're in a business to...
We had a very small kitchen at Montrachet, and he did one thing which is stupid. When people order, the dupe goes into the kitchen, and basically it should take about 10, maybe 15 minutes for the appetizers to come out.
Absolutely.
Now they go out. How long does it take to eat? Not even 10 minutes.
No.
So while they're eating, it's really the waiter's job to go in the kitchen and say, you can fire this table. Mm-hmm. Now they're still eating, but the theory is that by the time the entrees are ready to come out, the table will be cleared, the table will be marked, and they'll be ready for that. No. with Boulud, he wanted to see the plates that came out of the dining
That
room.
is just not efficient, Boulud.
Well, it's not only not efficient, but when we got 3 stars 7 weeks after we opened with a $16 menu,
That's also
I could have
crazy.
filled like
Read the book, people. There's so much cool shit in there.
Yeah, and so now it's like people are standing up in the middle of the dining room yelling at me. Where's
my entree?
And so the other thing he did, which was really awful, what happened, especially in that era, was when you had like this out of body success, all the chef stealers come in. And they're not even restaurant people. They're real estate people or developers, whatever. And so one day he's like sitting with this group in the dining room. And, I have friends on this side of the table. I have friends on this side of the table. And they're like looking at me, and they're like, he's like discussing leaving. And we had just gotten the 3 stars. So I basically went in the kitchen. He had a very close friend working there as well. And I grabbed this guy and I said, if anything ever happens in this restaurant, that's the reason. Like, he was kind of putting my nose in it. So it was really a case of kill or be killed. And you have to understand this.
So you're like, let's kill.
Well, I mean, most restaurateurs don't know anything about food. So replacing a 3-star chef is not easy. And you don't replace a 3-star chef with a 3-star chef because there's going to be the inevitable comparisons.
Right.
I replaced David Boulud with a friend. Why? Because the friend would listen to me, and I knew the path I would have to go on.
As an
and
operator.
So David Boulud was there 13 months of a 22-year run.
Wow.
That's
1 year out of 22.
And people will always tie his name to
No,
yours
but,
and to Andre.
he went on, of course, to be, Zagat rated #1 restaurant.
Yeah.
He got 4 stars in the New York Times. But he opened, and his problems, not being able to get the food out of the kitchen, I would get calls literally all night long.
Yeah, did that ever change?
We're at Boulud. Can we come over? We can't get any food.
Oh, my God.
And to this day, I mean, friends of mine, actually some very prominent chefs who worked with Boulud, his idiosyncrasies, everyone tells stories. But when he died, people would come over to me and said, sorry for your loss. I was like,
shit. You're like, no comment.
We were basically antagonists until 9/11. Because at 9/11, he was on the streets feeding the rest of the
Oh, right. You guys kind of got back together.
Well, we didn't get together then, but what happened was, and it actually happened a year before, to be honest, but I'm not one to hold a grudge. I'm Jewish. I'm not Italian, so I'm not like...
She's Jewish and Italian. Do you hold grudges, Judith?
Must be the Italian side. But I don't... And we actually became pretty friendly towards the end. I'd see him. I'd be very close to him. What was interesting was he dies, right? And I went to the memorial, very nice memorial. And he had a wonderful wife at the end. He was quite a woman's man, by the way. My wife said to me one day, she said, when he talks to you, it's like you're the only woman in the room. Because he used to do this thing.
That's a thing.
Well, he used to do this thing, and he put those eyes on you. And and my wife was like,
when you got it, you got it.
So his wife, one day, this freaked me out. I get an Instagram message from his post, from his Instagram, and he's dead. And my wife is saying to me, I think you got to clean up what you write about him in the book because you're a little mean to him in the book. And I said, well, what are you talking about? He's dead. And he's like, but I did change things. So now this post comes from
the ghost of David Boulud.
Well, this post comes from the Instagram. It says, I see you have a book coming out. I think it would be instructive if you thought twice about what you write about. Not me, but
who is this coming from?
Well, it had to be his wife.
Yeah.
I guess. So I'm the kind of person. Please just call me. Just call me. We'll have a conversation.
Right.
But she never called. And
okay. Did you ever hear from her after the book?
What's that? No, I haven't heard from her ever. So the book's only been out since September.
Maybe it was his ghost.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't her.
Yeah. The bottom line is, when asked, I did another interview, and it was a short interview, and they said, who was the most influential or most important person in your career? I said, it would probably have to be David Boulud, and I explained the reason why, because we were both young.
Formative.
And we got the 3 stars, and,
and
it started both of our careers.
Absolutely.
It was,
as owner.
It was the foundation of your entire thing.
Exactly right.
So we're going to skip over a lot because a lot happened between then and now. But again, like I said, I want to ask you some questions that, maybe aren't in the book, but
Sure.
obviously you are one of the reasons that NOBU exists.
Right.
You, De Niro, and Nobu Matsuhisa joined forces and created the powerhouse of Japanese restaurants that I think, even if you don't know
restaurants,
who
if you don't know
have heard
Japanese
Nobu.
restaurants, people know the name Nobu.
Here's the most important thing I could say about this. For instance, there's a documentary out now. You can watch it on Amazon.
I did.
NOBU. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in it for about 30 seconds.
I saw you in there.
But here's the story. First of all, being a partner to Robert De Niro is a very interesting exercise. 35 years.
I'm
It's
sure.
literally half my lifetime. De Niro, and this does not come out in the documentary, and it doesn't come out ever, because what happens is, and it's kind of a Trump thing these days. It's like if you say something enough times, the
People
lies
take it as
become
fact.
truth.
Yeah.
It's like like the economy's great. So
Right. It's a scam.
Is it?
in the documentary, we have it's four of us: Nobu, De Niro, me, and this Israeli guy named Myriad. So in the documentary he goes, I wanted to call it Matsuhisa because the brand was Matsuhisa, but Bob, and the camera goes to Bob, and Bob's like, and Bob wanted to call it Nobu, and Bob's like, oh yeah, like
You, in fact, wanted to call it Nobu, right?
It's not even a question.
Okay.
What happened?
Let's get it straight, De
this-
Niro.
this is important. We're about to open the Tribeca Grill. That was my second restaurant. Why? Because De Niro went to Montrachet. He had this idea to do something up the block at Tribeca Grill.
So he wanted to partner with you.
Yeah, and he says, "Oh, I have a friend who's a chef, Nobu Matsuhisa." I'm like, "Look, I'm in a fucking Japanese restaurant."
Right.
I mean, it's like, so he brings Nobu to be the chef of Tribeca Grill, which is bad casting.
Right.
Okay,
You learned it from your mother.
I learned it from my mother. so I'm like, Nobu leaves like.
You're like,
maybe-
not a fit.
No, Nobu's like, maybe one day I open small sushi bar with you.
Aw,
very friendly.
No, he seems like such a
I
sweet
see
man.
the friendship. I see De Niro kinship with Nobu. He's got a restaurant in Beverly Hills. We're in New York.
Yeah.
3 years later, 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
I find a space. Here's Tribeca Grill,
Uh-huh.
right up the block. Nobu.
Right up the block.
It was this Italian restaurant. It's run like they ran drugs out of the place, everything. I buy it at a bankruptcy for $100,000.
Holy shit.
And I
balls.
call Nobu and I go, Nobu, I
Hey,
found a
remember
space for
what we
us.
said?
Yeah.
And guess what? This is 3 years later.
Yeah.
Oh.
He said he was partnering with someone else.
He says, I don't tell you. I'm opening up the block at the Parker Meridian. I'm opening on 57th Street at the Parker Meridian Hotel. Don't worry, I'll come tomorrow. I'll be at Nobu. I'll come see you tomorrow. Here's what my point is.
You got him.
No, my point is, Nobu said no
Mm-hmm.
to the first one. Nobu said no to next door Nobu. Nobu said no when I pitched him on Nobu London. Today he's worth about $300 million, and that might be light.
And that might be because of you.
Well, when you said what
I'll
you
say
said,
it, Drew. You won't say it. I'll say it.
No, but what happens is, this is not like if you see the documentary, this is De Niro. Oh, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I ate Nobu's food. It was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
For who?
Well, that's a more
No-brainer to ask him to cook in New York, or no-brainer to put it together. Do you think had David Rockwell, who nobody even knew
The architect.
who he was? Now today he bills probably $1 billion a year.
Yeah.
he wants
Look.
he wants a myth. He doesn't want the actual story.
Well,
Right.
But this
Well,
is
De
what
Niro's
happens.
a storyteller. He's an actor.
Yeah.
He's got to have the whole,
he fixed it.
The point is, if you buy the book, you will hear the true story of Nobu.
and that's what we're talking
And
about.
just, yeah.
The true story. True.
The
Nobody's
true
going to
story of Nobu.
look, us sitting here, we're not denying.
But here's the New York Times.
Okay.
With the New York Times, prior to the book being released, did a wonderful full-page article, which nobody reads anymore, in the food section of the New York
Oh,
Times.
we do.
And at the very end, they go talking about
Yeah.
that he was elbowed out of the expansion. Which is a very kind way of saying they fucked me. But-
Yeah.
Okay,
but-
well,
so I'm not worth $300 million, not even close. But-
we will just say briefly, there
doing
were
okay.
some issues with your partnerships,
Yeah,
and you do talk about it in the book.
I do.
But you've worked out some deals that now you retain, ownership or
Well, I
ownership
still own
of.
Nobu.
Yes.
Um, And the Nobu was 32 years later in New York and in London. I mean, they're unbelievable.
Absolutely.
So, but the little known fact about Nobu is we used to twist ourselves in knots. We, meaning the food community, mostly chefs, to be creative.
Mhm.
So if you did a chicken a certain way, you couldn't do that chicken. In the old days, the French, everything was saumonier and, Provençal,
Sure,
everything.
they're
Everybody
classics.
did the same food. So Nobu, from 94 when we opened to today, exactly the exact same
People know
menu.
what to expect.
No, it's the exact same menu. There's
The yellowtail jalapeno.
the only creativity comes when like maybe a renegade chef in London puts like fish and chips on, or Nobu himself maybe says, "Oh, I want to do tacos," and then buys the shells, and.
But if
puts
you
some
went and had a
tuna in.
wonderful meal 10 years ago, you can.
It's
You
the
can
exact
still
same
get
meal.
that miso cod
No, it's the
today.
exact same meal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a comfort.
There's something to be
No,
said
but-
about that.
It's also indicative
It
of
shows you
eating
the
broke,
genius.
don't fix it.
But it shows you the genius. How innovative must it have been in '94
For it to
that
hold up.
today, tonight we'll do 500 covers uptown and 500 covers downtown. Last night I think we did $300,000, 2 restaurants combined.
We got to
That's
go to Nobu.
insane
Judith.
numbers.
We have
Yeah.
to go to Nobu.
That's insane numbers. But let me
We
know
have
if
to
you're going to go to Nobu.
Absolutely.
Oh, we do. I lived in LA for 20 years.
Right.
So I used to go to Matsuhisa and then the Nobu in Malibu. But we still have not been to the Nobu here, which is
Nope.
crazy. All right. Let's move on to some fun. I mean, this is all fun, but I'm just going to ask you some questions that I really want to pick your brain. Who is a chef that you've never worked with but would want to, living or dead?
Wow, that's a good one because I never got asked that question. I flirted with quite a number of very famous chefs, be it Rick Bayless,
Mm-hmm.
Todd English, even Grant Achatz, but maybe not so much Grant Achatz.
So who would you pick? Who would be the one?
I'm not certain that there's any specific chef that I tried hard to get and wasn't able to work with them.
Or what if nobody that you even tried, just like now, if you're like, oh, that would have been cool to do in hindsight. Anyone pop into your head just right away?
This is weird because I have an answer for everything.
She stumped
I'm
you?
glad I stumped you, Drew.
No, you did. Marcus Glocker, who I work with at Petard,
Mm-hmm.
initially said no to me. Anytime I had to find a chef, I would write like 6 names on a list. And whoever I chose, looking back on it a year later, I'd say, wow, I chose the right one. But the other 5
Yeah.
all did fantastic. They all landed really well. There were a number of really renowned chefs who would come to me and say, oh, we really got to work together.
All right. Well, if
And
something.
I hated their food.
Oh,
And-
no! And you're like, "Oh,
if you knew who these people were, no, I have a
I'm going
very
to ask off camera.
no, you will. I have a very high standard.
Okay,
And,
as you should.
Absolutely.
And, but because Thomas Keller, for instance,
Mm.
was cooking at Raquel and Carmine and Varick, and I mean his food was celestial. It was terrific. But Keller used to come to one day we should work together.
Yeah. What do you
and-
think about that?
Well, I mean, if I look back,
Just
on it-
now.
But what I realize is the reason chefs don't want to take direction. Like I approach everything like
And
it's
you
a
want to be
movie.
in charge.
No. But I don't have to be in charge. What I try to do, I try to be the director who looks at the actors and said, if you want to improvise, you can do it. But if I come to you and I say this is salty, or I got this dish of pasta that was lukewarm,
Right.
I just want you to be able to hear me. Like with Boulud, I mean, we couldn't solve the problem. The problem only got worse.
Mm.
Ugh.
So I had to do something which today, if you tried to do that, replace. In the old days, if a 3-star chef left the restaurant, it was over. Michelin, forget about it. They take the stars away immediately.
I mean, I can't
So-
imagine.
So my next question is, what's one of the biggest lessons you've learned along the way? You started so young, and now you're so not young,
I think
just like us.
I
so
did-
not
yeah,
young.
no, I'm much older than you guys. I think you delude yourself to thinking, because I had a mother who was literally in a program called Let's Pretend. So it's like the world was beautiful and
Delusional.
so
Love
like we'd be at a restaurant, I'd say something, shh, people could be listening, and like, Mom, I didn't say anything. I thought that when I owned my own restaurant, it would be Shangri-La. Like I could write every wrong I saw in a restaurant, and I righted a lot of wrongs. There were, no yelling, no screaming, no abuse, but that doesn't mean somebody's not going to sue you.
Oh shit!
Now, and I haven't been sued, but unfortunately today, the way it's set up, every single employee is a possible grenade. You cannot guard against that. You can.
Well, give it to me in a sentence. What's the lesson? What's this lesson?
Well, the lesson is that it's a very difficult business, and you can't. You're setting the example, so you have to be prudent about everything. You can't. Your manner in the restaurant, you have to lead by example, and you have to lead professionally, and so you can't drink at your own bar. Obviously, you can't womanize. Like you're young. Right. All these people are working for you are very attractive, but you can't and that's did in a number of people who you guys know about.
Absolutely.
Didn't follow that.
Yeah.
There's several chefs,
Mm-hmm.
and they just you have to be scrupulous about and even then that doesn't mean you're free because
you can only control what you can control.
You only can but
do you have any regrets?
Do I have regrets?
Yeah, do you have any regrets?
Isn't that the name of McNally's book?
Shit.
I only have regrets.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, if you don't have regrets, then you haven't lived.
No. I mean, look, it's like, I've opened 40 restaurants. We got hosed a number of times. I didn't realize when certain, like especially in hotels or resorts, they'd bring you in and they'd spend a lot of money to build a restaurant. And then a year or two into it, they're all gone. Why are they gone? Who knows? But I never saw people change jobs like in the hotel business. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, W Hotels, all the people that put us into Heartbeat, I opened several restaurants for W, Heartbeat, Earth and Ocean in Seattle. The minute they're gone, the new people who come in, the first thing they're looking at is, do we really need Drew Nieporent?
Oh, shit.
Because, we cook too. And
I know a guy too.
There's a nuance to what I did. And that doesn't necessarily mean I did it better than you. You can cook a hamburger. I can cook a hamburger. Cooking is a lot about precision. And so I'm not in the kitchen. I'm a front of the house person. Mm-hmm. But I always chose a chef hoping to set the example for everybody. But that wasn't always the case. You
also say in your book that you struggle with the idea of being forgotten.
Well, I mean, that's why I wrote the book. I am.
So you will live in infamy.
If it wasn't for this interview, nobody would know who I am. No. Look, this is. We live in a day and age where information is just thrown at you from all sides. So what happens? Okay, you don't.
Only some of it sticks.
You don't have time to.
Only a fraction of it sticks.
Yeah,
exactly. So I went to this lunch at Daniel Boulud, Thomas Keller, Stefano cooked. Oh, congratulations on your book. Have you read it? Oh, I'm going to read it.
Sure.
I cannot tell you the number of times. There wasn't one person at that luncheon who said congratulations.
Yes, I have read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who has time to read
one person.
Book?
There's a guy named
Judith.
Okay,
yeah,
I read like 11 books. Yeah.
Did you read? By the way, did you read The Slutty Chef? Tarte, Tarte. You haven't.
No, should we?
By The Slutty Chef.
Okay.
It's a London book. It's a great book. You'll love it. Tarte.
Anyway,
okay.
So there's a guy at the luncheon. He's usually not at the luncheon. He has a little restaurant on 81st Street, packed all the time. He used to be the chef of Remy. Remy was owned with Adam Tahani, the designer.
Okay.
So his name is Francesco Antonucci.
Ooh,
and he
say it again.
He hands me a phone. He goes like this, this guy wants to speak to you. And it's Adam Tahani calling from Miami. I read your book. I think your book is fantastic. I saw it because he knows that was my era. And Siria Macchioni, he built restaurants for and all this kind of thing. So there was one girl in Philadelphia, it was by the phone. She's about to do the interview with me, and she goes, let me ask you a question. Did you really piss in that bottle of wine?
Oh, I love that
and
story.
I said, oh,
if you want to hear about Drew pissing into a bottle of wine to get back at another server,
right.
Read the damn book.
That was the first time I said, oh, you read the book. Because even the New York Times and I appreciate the New York Times,
Of
any
course.
coverage in the New York Times.
I mean, come on.
But she was like, yeah, I've read half the book.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
come on.
That
And then
means
she's
they-
going to review
Why?
it.
No, and this book was written with a woman by the name of Jamie Feldmar,
Mhm.
and she's fantastic. She wrote the Don Angie cookbook, and she also wrote Naomi Pomeroy's cookbook. Naomi Pomeroy was the chef
Beast.
of Portland.
Yeah.
who died.
Amazing chef.
She died.
She did.
And now she's writing a cookbook with an Indian chef, street food. So I really wanted a book review in the New York Times, and it's a long story. It's obviously not in the book, but I coerced this book review because I read the book review every week, and I look at who the bestsellers are. and
Sure.
whatnot. But I not only got a book review once digitally, meaning when it first came out, it was online.
Mm.
And then I said, is it going to be in the book review?
Yeah.
And they go, probably not.
Oh, come on. You're like,
wrong
I need
answer.
the print.
Let's try again.
And they go, you're better off. More people see the digital. And I'm like, I don't think so. and then I did something, which I'll tell you off camera. And
No,
then
tell everyone.
they called me up and they said, it's going to be in November 30th. So 2 Sundays ago, I had a full page. And
Hell
by the
yes.
way, here's the
Congratulations
page.
on that.
Yeah.
review.
Here's the page. And the other page is Gabrielle Hamilton, Prune.
Her
And-
book is.
But they killed her book.
Oh,
Oh no.
They actually they said her other books are great. This one sucks.
Oh no.
In my book, Corby Cummer, who you guys don't know who that is, but Corby Cummer reviews the book, and he's about my age now, and he was like this slender Boston writer who hated food, and he actually wrote years ago.
I don't like those people. I don't
No,
trust
no,
those
but
people. I don't
years-
like those
years
people.
ago, he writes The Tyranny of the Tasting Menu,
Oh,
which
God.
years ago
Ooh.
that was tough, but today he could write that article today because now every other restaurant has a tasting
Yep.
menu. So
Oh
he could-
God. Well, we'll just add author to your bio.
Right.
All right, we're gonna play a little game. You want to play a game? We're gonna gossip, Drew.
Okay.
All right. We want you to give us tight
The hot
answers.
goss.
The hot goss. You know,
Okay.
I feel like from reading your book, you're a man who doesn't hold back. So don't hold back. He's
Mm-hmm.
downing that glass of wine. If
There's
you're
a
not
lot of wine
watching
in there. We got to finish that one.
all right, pour yourself some more because
Yeah.
we're about to get into a segment we are calling The Brew with Drew.
Brew with Drew.
The brew with
The
Drew.
gossip game because this man has seen some things.
Oh, okay.
Just give us
Ooh.
a name.
Oh my gosh,
We
is
don't
he gonna
need
answer this.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll
Okay.
find out. Go.
Oh, the biggest pain in the ass celebrity? Question mark. And you can't say yourself.
It's really not honestly, I get asked this question a lot.
Yeah.
And, there was, I like Tony Danza.
Okay.
But
Tony
years
Danza.
ago, we sat him at De Niro's table.
Okay.
And he goes, why are you burying me here? Because it's all the way in the back. But De Niro always wanted to sit at the last table.
He wanted to survey the room.
Yeah, I guess some people want to be seen and some want
And
peace.
there are a lot of times when we lead somebody to a table in the back, and they're like, they look at us like like
Why are you taking me to the
in horror.
bathroom?
And then they see at the very last moment, they'll see like De Niro or somebody sitting right there where they were.
and then it's okay.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh no, I'll stay here.
Okay.
But there isn't there. I can't name
Okay. So
can't name anybody.
you say that this isn't the sort of establishment you like to collaborate on, but have you ever witnessed, like, what's the worst chef meltdown you've ever witnessed?
Yeah, who's throwing a tantrum?
Well,
Let's hear about it.
unfortunately, it is in the book.
Oh, this one is
You
in
did
the
talk
book.
about how David,
Daniel Boulud.
Daniel Boulud used to be yelling.
Daniel Boulud is probably
Yeah.
the greatest chef in the world right now because he's opened all these
We
restaurants.
love him.
Oh,
He's
my
a
gosh.
very philanthropic guy. He's a lovely guy. But when he was at Le Régence and I was at Le Régence, I never saw anybody yell at people. In fact, he would take plates, throw them in the garbage. And one time he told the garde manger something. He threw the plate in the garbage. I went over to the garde manger. I said, why do you take that shit from him? Just talk back to him.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it was about, but one day he starts with me and he goes, fuck you, to me. And I go, fuck me, fuck you. And the waiters like pull me out of the kitchen. They're like, you can't talk to the French chef like that, blah, blah, blah. And Danielle, to his credit, came out and said, oh, we joke around. I didn't mean it. He basically backed off.
He backed off.
Now-
Do you think it's because you stood up to him?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's just like any
100%.
bully kind of situation. But today, first of all, he would never be able to get away with this ever.
No, the yelling and the screaming?
No, of course not.
First of all, sexual abuse has gotten a lot of,
A lot of press, a lot of
press.
recognition.
But the yelling and the
Abuse-
screaming too. Yeah.
abuse of any kind.
Yeah.
Yelling at somebody,
No.
like this whole Gordon Ramsay thing in his earliest career.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous. I once auditioned. They flew me out to the West Coast.
Yeah.
I go in a room, and there's Bobby Flay, Mario Batali, Rocco.
Wait, to like be a judge on a food show?
No, I was going to be on Master Chef, I think it was.
Okay.
And they was like, "This is going to be Gordon's. He's going to be nice on the show."
His legit one, yeah.
So I go out, and they're filming me with Gordon.
Yeah.
And there's a woman who's made a Thai beef salad,
Okay.
and she's made it with flank steak.
Okay.
So she puts the salad in front. And they said, "What do you think?" And I said, "Well, it tastes very good, but flank steak you have to cut against the grain.
Because it can
You
be
cut
chewy.
it with the grain." And Gordon goes like this. He goes, "Yeah, they're amateur chefs. Why,
You're
why
like, let
Oh,
me
like, be
help
nice
school
to
them.
why are you being so
I
critical?"
think they would appreciate
I
that.
was like, what does a Scotsman know about food? Because everyone thinks he's British, but he's actually Scottish. Or something.
Used
And
to
then
be a
that was
rugby
it for
player.
me. Joe Bastianich got the gig. But
Okay, so related, do you think that the yelling and the screaming has to do with ego? Like, what's the biggest?
Who has the
who's
biggest
big?
ego?
no,
And you can't say
it's-
yourself.
It really isn't that. I opened the Harley Davidson Cafe for Mark Packer,
Oh,
who
shit.
owns Avra, and they used to show O.J. Simpson was at that opening party,
Oh,
and that was now they show Jeffrey Epstein because he was with Donald Trump at
oh,
the opening party at the
Jesus.
Harley Davidson.
So infamous, not
Right.
famous.
No, but what happens is I had to expedite, not for the opening night, but for a night. And what happens is you get so crazy because we had like 500 orders
Yeah.
to come in. And when a waiter gets online and just starts bullshitting or they don't look like they're serious, that's when you lose your shit. You just you get upset. The French guys, it was just a thing. They had to treat you like garbage. I've heard stories. They shaved your head. They
Oh, God.
drop you in a stock. It's so much worse than what you've heard. I mean, it's
So there isn't one particular person that you're like, that
That person
motherfucker
has
has
an
an ego.
It's the French.
well, Paul Liebran. They
There we
made a
go,
movie.
Paul
They made a movie about Corton. It's called A Matter of Taste. We
and
actually-
Paul was your chef at
Right.
Cortone.
And there's a scene which is mild actually, but he's in the face of if one more dish like that comes on, I'm gonna put your bloody face in the So and what
Watch the
happened? This was very interesting. The New York Times, Frank Bruni, the review comes out online, and it's the afternoon, and my staff is getting ready for the dinner, and the filmmaker's in the restaurant. I said to the filmmaker, I'm going to read the review. I haven't read it. I'm going to read the review. You can catch this on camera as it's happening.
Well,
So I read the review, and she catches the staff, and they're so beat up. I look at this film now, and I'm like, oh my God.
just disheartened.
No, they're but it's a happy ending. We got 3 stars, and he got 2 Michelin stars. And then one day, a cook comes out of the kitchen, says, "When are we going to Brooklyn?" I go, "What do you?"
Oh, this was when,
Yeah.
okay.
And
So
then
again,
he's plotting to go to a
This is in the
hotel
book.
in Williamsburg, and
he was
doesn't
leaving
tell me
and
a
wasn't
word.
going to tell you.
Well, he wasn't leaving. When I finally have a meeting with him because it was
Oh, he was going to do
it
both.
was this time of year. It was Christmas time. He goes, "No, I'm going to stay. I'm going to do both." I said, Paul, I don't compete with myself. Get the fuck out. I mean, it's
Right.
like, and
Everyone
I
should read
couldn't-
the book.
I couldn't reconstitute Cortone at that point. I did Batard, which I always wanted to do Batard. I was very lucky to find Marcus Clocker, who said no the first time.
But
and
your
John,
story about when
Winterman.
the leaving thing and then how you had already assembled.
Well, that's Boulud.
That story is
That's
amazing.
that
And
is
we're not
amazing.
going to rehash it, but
Yeah.
yeah, when Boulud said he was leaving and you had already assembled kind of under the table a whole other team, that is crazy. And you guys go read the book for that story
That's true.
because that's gold. That just shows true that you're just one step ahead.
The other thing that kills me, though.
You're on top of it.
Yeah, but the thing that
Can't
kills me.
pull anything over. Can't pull the wool over your eyes.
Daniel Boulud did a promo on Instagram, and it's incredible. He does like a video very early on. He obviously didn't read the book.
Oh, shit.
Oh no!
I kind of slag him a little bit in the book, but the point is, like, I go to a luncheon. These are all my colleagues.
Right.
And nobody, I mean, like, Charlie Palmer. Charlie Palmer's all over this book because he helped me in a lot of ways. And even Charlie Palmer, I haven't read your book yet. Or at least he's honest. He says, I haven't read it yet because, but
I'm busy. I've got stuff to do.
I just want somebody to say, hey, man. And by the way, this has happened. I cannot tell you. Wait staff from Tavern on the Green.
Of course.
They write me, you might not remember me. Of course I remember them. There was this little girl. She goes, you promoted me to the Crystal Room. That was the top room at Tavern. She goes, I was the first woman captain. I didn't know that, but she was, you've probably seen this before. They go to the table, large table, let's just say 6 or 8 people. Doesn't write anything down. And it's like they remember.
They remember.
So
that makes me so nervous.
Makes me
She's not going to remember.
Because when it happens to me, they always get it wrong, by the way. But this girl was fantastic. But I've gotten letters, emails from people that that's heartwarming because
Well, you've
they read
employed how many?
yeah.
I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of people.
like 40 restaurants. You are a living legend.
Don't worry, my feet are firmly
Firmly planted on the ground. All right, we're gonna get to our favorite segment.
Wait a minute. There's no more salacious.
Oh no, this is salacious as hell.
Okay.
This is our favorite segment
Okay.
called I Don't Fuck With That. So you get to talk about something that really fucking pisses you off in the restaurant industry. I'm gonna go
That's
first.
a lot of things.
And this, I don't know why this is even still a thing, but I saw it on a menu and it just really, I really realized how annoyed I am by this, and it should not be a thing anymore, but truffle oil.
Right.
I am so over
It's so gross.
truffle oil.
It's not truffle.
It's not truffles. It's a chemical. It's gross. Chefs, what are we doing? Why are we still using it?
Yeah. Actually,
what's up with that?
This is very interesting because truffle oil, you're right. It's miserable. But you know what's delicious?
Tell
and
us.
it does come in a can.
Oh, a lot of things that are
No.
delicious come in a can.
Truffle juice.
Okay.
Oh,
And
what's
let me
the
explain.
difference?
You got to juice it.
No, if you put truffle
milk it.
juice in chicken stock or trust me, it perfumes the dish like you wouldn't
But
believe.
that's different because
That is different.
that's actually from
But
truffle.
you know what pisses me off? Actually, most people do not know how to cook with truffles.
Okay, is that your I don't fuck with that?
No,
What's
no.
your I don't fuck with that? Give us your I
Let me
don't
just
fuck
tell you quickly, but only the truffle. Because white truffles you have raw and you grate.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, what the chefs do is they grate the black truffles.
Yeah.
They not only grate the black truffles, but they grate the winter black truffles.
And you're not supposed
which
to.
are well, they're cardboard. They look like truffles. They have
The
no
white
flavor.
is superior to the black.
No, but black you cook with to extract the glutamate
Yeah.
out of the fungus. Anyway, the thing I was on stage in LA. I was part of a LA chef conference. I'm not a chef, but I was on a stage with all chefs, Waxman, Voltaggio, and
Brian or Michael?
Michael. And boy, you got these.
Go Baltimore.
Baltimore, that's true, Baltimore.
Yeah.
So I went off on Wagyu, and there was literally a stand like right next to the stage.
Oh shit.
Serving Wagyu. So today I'm in the car, and at NOBU, the NOBU I own in London, it's Wagyu table, and there's a video, and Wagyu, and for me, I see Wagyu on a menu. It's like the chef now can charge you $150 for a steak. How can a Wagyu hamburger taste like anything?
No, it's actually too rich if you put it in a burger. It's too much.
Ridiculous.
Judith, what's your I don't fuck
Okay,
with
so
that?
it's really basic. I'm going to take it back to the basics, but it
Love
is
that.
currently in New York City about 7 degrees.
It's so fucking Arctic. I
And
hate it.
if a restaurant has a door directly into the dining room and it doesn't have the curtain, I can't.
I don't fuck with
I don't
that.
fuck
No,
with
how
that.
about this one?
I don't
How
fuck
about
with
this
that.
one?
It's fucking good.
No,
Yeah.
It's 7 degrees.
Yeah.
No, how about this one? It's 7 degrees. You go to the Spotted Pig. I'm dating myself.
Okay, yeah.
No, we know about
And
this spot.
the door is locked before lunch. They open the 12:01, and they keep you out in the cold to freeze your ass off on
No,
a 7
that's-
degree day.
That is not
That's
hospitality.
very rude.
No,
That's not hospitality.
That's not hospitality.
hospitality.
You know. By the way, I had
Not
one
even for
rule.
myself, I feel bad for the hostess.
That's right.
The host or the
Well,
hostess or the
thing
guy
with
behind the bar who's right there in front
that's
of the door.
their fault. That's their fault. Not building a nice
build
foyer.
a fucking curtain.
But
Yes.
I had one rule.
Okay.
Like I watched this very early on. customer would come in, somebody would walk over and say, "We're not open yet," and make them leave. And then would say to the staff, "We are open when the first customer walks in.
Oh, shit.
You let them come in, you put them at the bar, you get them a drink." And so that was my rule. I didn't give a goddamn.
That is the definition of hospitality.
It sure fucking is, Drew.
Like, turn around and walk out.
The other thing is,
maybe I won't come back.
The other thing is, I'm not going to name any names, but you probably know what I'm talking about. I do not like talking about hospitality. Just do it.
Show
there are
don't tell.
Or are you talking about a certain
No, not the king.
Okay.
He deserves all the grace, but there are other disciples of the king that have written hospitality books that you have to take with a grain of salt, because they no longer are working. They talk
the talk, they don't
talk,
walk
but they're
the
not
walk.
working. I do this every day, right? So every day, like, I show up in my restaurants, and if I see somebody do something stupid, like, NOBU, they try to shuffle sharing plates all the time. But if there's no sauce or dirt, a leftover piece of whatever on the plate, leave the dish in front of us. You're disrupting. Anyway, there's little things that amount to a lot of big things in life.
I can hear you on that.
The share plates. Don't take away my share plate if I haven't used it. That makes me crazy.
I don't fuck with that either.
I'm like, you're going to take the. What are you going to clean it? You're going to waste the water. We're killing the planet.
Do more
just
work.
leave the fucking plate.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't fuck with that.
You guys got to make a reservation.
So many things we don't fuck with.
I'll smack your hand.
Insane. All right, we have a quick fire round, which I know is going to be hard for you because the man
I talk to
likes to talk, and we are glad that you like to talk.
Very fast.
All right, so these are like literally, Drew, the first thing that comes into that brain, you shout it out.
She's gonna get mad.
All right,
don't get her mad.
Oh God, I'm not mad. I'm so happy. Right, and we have this beautiful wine. We've had this great conversation. I'm happy, and so I have to go out in the 7-degree
weather.
Yeah. All right, quick fire. Ready? Mets or Yankees?
Both.
Mets or Yankees?
Both.
Both. Ooh.
I like both teams.
Yeah.
Favorite slice?
Favorite meaning the place?
Yeah.
F&F in Brooklyn.
Fucking yeah. Hell yeah. Here we go. You can't run a restaurant without blank.
Good people.
Danny Meyer or Keith McNally?
Danny Meyer. It would be Danny Meyer over anyone. So
the king.
By the way, I respect Keith McNally. He doesn't like me, but that's fine.
I was gonna say, are you guys on talking terms or
no?
No. Okay.
And we both had strokes.
Sorry, Keith. Anyway, your go-to drink, Drew.
Bloody Mary.
Nice.
Not really.
Concert.
Drinks that anymore.
We love a Bloody
I
Mary.
love them.
Concert you still think about?
The Who.
A meal you still think about?
El Bulli.
Ooh. Best New York City neighborhood for dining currently.
Tribeca.
If you do say so yourself.
Yeah. The man who built Tribeca
Well,
dining.
there was one point it was like Chanterelle, Boulet, Morrichet. It's not like that anymore. So maybe today, I couldn't possibly say Midtown, but it might be Midtown.
Oh, interesting take.
Couldn't say that though.
What do you think you cook the best?
Chicken francese.
Oh, all right. Favorite skill or trait that you possess that you love about yourself?
Favorite skill or trait? Good father.
You're a good father. You have 2 kids?
2.
Amazing.
Boy and a girl.
Restaurant that you kind of wish was yours?
I'm not jealous of anybody, but this is that is I should be able to answer that.
Oh shit.
I because I don't like the tasting menu format.
Yeah.
in New
Okay.
York. And
You haven't walked into a spot and you've been like, damn, they did
This
a
place
good
is
job.
great.
I wish this
I
would
wish
come
I
out
had
of
done
my
this.
brain. No?
I'm gonna answer the question.
Okay.
But not really.
With a caveat.
Okay.
But not really. Coca duck.
Oh.
I think fried chicken.
Simon.
Yeah.
Like him.
I like Simon a lot, but for him to be on that Michelin show, trying to get a Michelin star for a fucking fried chicken place,
Right? And they did
it's
not.
stupid. Why?
They
If
got
anybody
they
can
got
get
the
a star
bib
for that,
hormones.
he can get a star for that. And then, look, he's riding. There's a wave.
That restaurant has a
doesn't last
vibe,
forever.
as they say.
No, but
There is
delivers.
energy in that room.
And here's the interesting thing. I'm very cheap, but if you have a 400 number of champagnes on a list, and the cheapest champagne is going to be $100.
Okay.
You literally are going there saying, I'm going to spend
spend
$100. where when I go to restaurants, most of the time I'll order a cheaper bottle of wine.
But you know what? Their food is actually affordable. So if
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Like, and they also have shout out. Their Caesar salad is one of the best Caesar salads I've ever had. It's epic. It has like a black sesame.
I will also say this. This happened just recently. I walked into. I do the hamburgers at Madison Square Garden, so I walked up the block to see Avra on 33rd and 9th, and it was so beautifully designed. And they said David Rockwell designed it. And there is a very dear friend of mine, and so I said, David, you're going to throw me a book party, and he goes, because he's cheap. And I go, David, you're not going to spend any money. Just call Packer. Oh, don't worry. I'll speak to Packer. I'll tell him you want to do it. Don't worry. So I speak to Mark Packer, and Packer is like, I don't think you know who I'm talking about, but he owned Tao, and he's opened 1 million restaurants.
Oh, yeah.
He's made $1 zillion. And he goes, for you, I'm going to do it. And so, I had my book party, and so I was jealous of that physical.
Okay.
In other words,
that's an answer.
If I had a restaurant, David Rockwell designs beautiful restaurants, but also Avra Co. They design beautiful restaurants also.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. Where's a restaurant lately that you've just had an impeccable meal that you want to shout out?
Ada.
Oh,
yeah.
That's the Damaka and
Chintan is kind of, I met these guys years ago in Aspen, and they had one restaurant in Jersey City. They knew who I was. They were blowing a lot of smoke up my butt, but they were very friendly. Today, they you can't even, these are the top of the heap. Damaka, Sema. I haven't been to Sema yet. Ada, their chef Neil. First of all, the place is very comfortable.
Well, tell us what the best thing you put in your mouth from Ada was.
Well, they have a shank. They have a lamb shank that they do a table side.
I'm in.
But I did this Cooking with the Experts. Do you follow them?
Oh, I saw it on your Instagram.
Yeah.
They're
very clever. And they asked me to choose a place, and they didn't tell me anything. So we sit down, and the girl goes, oh, I used to work at Ada in Long Island City, I think it was. I was like, really? And, so it was coincidental. But I grew up in New York when 6th Street, between 1st and 2nd, there were like 15 Indian restaurants on the one block.
Yeah.
And we used to joke that there was like one kitchen in the alleyway in the back.
And now there's just one.
There's just one.
Yeah. But Ada's literally around the corner, and Ada's, it's a great restaurant.
It is very, very high on our list to go to.
Yeah.
Okay. Now maybe we'll put it to number 1.
And then Musafer. Do you know Musafer?
No.
Okay, so Musafer opened in the old City Hall space, Henry Mears' old space in Duane Street in Tribeca. The food is excellent there, except they have $29 desserts, which in my way of thinking is like, I don't know where you come up with that.
I mean, look, we're paying $29 for a martini, so I guess I'll fucking pay for $29 for a dessert.
I'm going to give your viewers a little secret, although I might be giving something away.
Please do.
So, and my wife is aghast when I do this. Okay, I go to a restaurant.
Okay. Shout out Anne.
And I shout out Anne. And I go, can I trouble you for a glass of ice? Just ice.
Oh my God, he's going to make
Then they
his own
bring
martini.
a glass of ice with a spoon, and they think I'm going to put ice. And then I reach in my pocket, and you know the little minis you get on the first class?
Yes, sir.
So I buy them now.
Oh dear.
And because I refuse to spend $20 plus on a cocktail, any cocktail in a restaurant. So I save about $40 every restaurant I go to.
Wait, nobody's ever stopped you from doing this?
100%.
Well,
love this.
I don't think anyone has ever caught me.
Okay. I was going to say,
do it very
what
discreetly.
if someone was doing that in one of your restaurants? What would you do?
I'd probably think they were genius.
So you'd be like, sir or ma'ams,
well, first
Judith
of all,
and Lala, I see what you're doing.
I see you making your own martini over there.
Lala, here's the way I think about it. Have you ever brought wine to a restaurant?
Yes. However, I do prefer to explore their list.
Okay.
But it's
so
only
I
if I
explore
have
the
a
list.
special bottle.
Okay, I explore the list. Before I go to any restaurant, I explore the list. And every single restaurant today, except maybe things in where I live, Rockland County, Westchester, you can't find a bottle under $80. You can. What's the corkage? $75.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. So I'm going to bring, like the wine you just poured for us, that's $250 on their list, at least, maybe more. Premier Cru
Big spender over here.
So it's like, what's $75? I might have paid in a store $50. So it's a bargain, $125, and you're charging me $75. So
You're pulling that little airplane bottle out for free.
Well, yeah, but I'm going to spend $100 in the restaurant. There's no question.
Well, they'll probably comp you, but you'll probably spend it on the tip.
Well, you would be. I'm
Not when you
amazed.
make your own martini at the bar.
I would just tell you one quick thing about the restaurant business.
Great. Nick,
Yes.
One question.
You have very celebrated people come to your restaurant, my restaurant. I pick up their check. Okay, so you feel there'll be reciprocity.
Yeah.
Reciprocity.
So this is
Oh, yeah.
years ago. This is like 40 years ago, 35 years ago. I take my mother to a very prominent restaurant for lunch. And this is where the kiss of death comes in. When you sit down, they bring out 2 glasses of champagne at lunch.
We love
And it's
that.
like, these are with our compliments. You know they're not comping anything
that
after
you're
that.
not.
So I had comped the whole goddamn check, and he's going to give me
And he's
going to
give you 2 glasses of champagne.
Or Prosecco, actually.
Not even the champagne, not even the good
Man.
stuff. All right, Drew, we have been talking, and I swear we could do a part 2. So if you ever want to grace this couch again or that chair, we will have you.
Okay.
But I just do have one final question for you, and that's just what are you most proud of in your crazy ass legendary career?
Well, I'm certainly proud of all the restaurants that I was able to conceptualize. I'm really proud of my family, my wife and kids. They've always been very supportive. My mother and dad, like you read these other memoirs, their families are all fucked up. I mean, it's like unbelievable. I had wonderful parents, great brother, and I didn't hose anybody.
Yeah.
So it's like
There you go. That's something to be proud of in this industry.
Here's I was always identified as, like, if I go to a party and I say, "Oh, what are you going to do next?" And I'm like, "I got fucking,
I've done enough.
I've got 40 restaurants. What more do you need?
I've got
from
all
me?
these
I just
restaurants."
wrote a book.
And now, even now,
Yeah.
what's next? That's like, and I'm like, okay, just to answer the question.
There's a reason why I didn't ask you what's next.
Okay, but
But you can tell us.
For years, I'd say I never did a Chinese restaurant. I want to do a Chinese restaurant. Now I don't want to do a Chinese restaurant because the hospitality is like, we go to I think, what's it called? Royal Seafood.
Mm-hmm.
It's just up the block, literally, Mott Street. And the food, it was a banquet for like 100 of us. And the food was unbelievable. So the guy who was the host who pays the bill, he's Chinese, and he goes, "This place has great food. The hospitality and the service sucks."
Oh.
And you know how I just told you the routine with the vodka?
Yeah.
So I go early. I literally had to go around the restaurant. I went to waiters. I went to what I thought were managers. Wait. Because they had a system where they put the ice in the middle of the table, the banquet tables, with 2 bottles of Coca-Cola, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That was their ice service. So when I asked them for a glass of ice, I could never get the glass of it. And I wanted to start drinking, So I'm not going to do a Chinese restaurant, but what I answer is I want to do, and I saw it yesterday, I watched this. A deli sandwich is $30 now.
Yeah.
It's an entree.
Yeah.
So you can make money in a deli if we can figure out how to sell alcohol.
You heard it here first,
Alcohol,
folks.
the
That's
juice.
what's next for Drew.
We got to get the juice to up the ante a little bit.
Absolutely.
He's doing sandwiches,
I will.
people.
I will eat that sandwich.
Hell yeah. Let us know. We're
Well,
coming.
corned beef done well.
Oh, hell
All
yeah.
Oh, by the way, just so that you know, the
Yeah.
bread
The
in
bread.
all these places suck.
Oh,
So I
Texas
will-
has the worst bread ever.
That's
I will
right.
die on that hill.
Very good.
The worst. All right, we got to wrap it up.
Okay.
Drew, tell everyone where they can find you, your Instagram handle, blah, blah, blah.
Well, my Instagram is Drew Nieporent, and I've been hanging out at Tribeca, but that's about to be taken over by a very, very famous restaurant group. So you'll be very proud of that deal that we made. And I'm still on NOBU. I have a wine store on 57th between 3rd and Lex, and
Crush.
I do the hamburgers at Madison Square Garden.
Hell
So
yeah. And now he might be opening a
now
sandwich.
that,
Never say
I just got to
never.
find I got to
deli
find a
with
wealth.
alcohol.
I got to find a wealthy benefactor.
Oh
but-
my
All right.
God.
Listen, I just want to say thank you for the delicious wine. Thank you for the
Absolutely.
wonderful
Thank you for being here.
Yes.
company. It was terrific. I
Thank you.
appreciate
We'll
it.
have you back any damn time, truly. If there's something you want to
And
vent
we'll see you
about,
at NOBU.
if you want to do a regular segment called The Brew with Drew, you just come on. We'll give you 10 minutes and we'll just like talk the shit and all the restaurant gossip, Drew. I
There
think
we
that
go.
could be your new thing.
There we go.
Yeah.
We are Put It in My Mouth pod across all platforms. Judith, I love you.
I love you too.
Y'all, go forth, put that shit in your mouth, taste buds. Until next time, Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Drew.
Thank you,
You're
Drew.
insane. Oh my
Thank you
God.
very much.
What is, I like it. What is, I like it. I like it. Yeah.
Put It in My Mouth podcast is recorded in New York City at WTF Studios and hosted by Lala Zimsky and Judith Basich. It's produced by myself, Lala Zimsky, and entirely self-funded. So if you would like to support or sponsor an episode, please reach out to putitinmymouthpod@gmail.com. We would love to take your money. You can also support us on all socials across the board at putitinmymouthpod. Our intro and outro segments were created by Tyler Milliron. Our theme music was composed by Javier Dunn. Our editor is Saeem Asif. Please leave a review. It means the world to us and helps us get seen. Thanks for listening.